And a very good day it is to you, dear friends. Here's another installment of Testimonial Tuesdays, where I will reference a scriptural quote and try and bring it into a modern day perspective and application. Today we're going to be speaking about 9 qualities of wisdom and why we need it more than ever. My name is Kimble Rogers. So, we live in an age where almost everything is a finger touch away. Consider this. Today, more information is generated in 10 minutes than all civilization from the beginning of time up until this point. In some ways, this is good, but for all the answers at our fingertips, the information age cannot answer most of the questions that matter. Even though we are swimming in a 24/7 stream of news, media, personalities, and opinions, I wonder if we're not drowning or on the verge of it. For me, the constant barrage of information is overwhelming most days. What's legit? Is anyone reporting the truth? Who can I trust? I'm not the only one overwhelmed. Statistics actually say that we are the most anxiety-plagued, depression-ridden culture in the history of the world. Our current society, that is. We are more informed, more educated than any culture in the history of the world, but something is missing. Something Google can't answer, and universities and schools don't teach. That something is wisdom. Wisdom is the antidote to information overload, to an age of anxiety and insecurity. The scriptures speak often about wisdom, and I believe wisdom is the first and foremost from our Creator. So I'd like to highlight a few ways to consider on how to grow in wisdom, to move beyond mere knowledge and facts. Point number 1, accept uncertainty and the unknown. Proverbs 2 verse 10 says this, "For wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul." To move beyond knowledge and information to wisdom, you must move beyond black and white thinking. Wisdom isn't about what you know, it's about how you see, and not with your eyesight, with your insight. Wisdom happens when you take knowledge and apply it to your life in such a way that adds meaning and promotes the common good. Our minds collect, organizes, processes facts and information, but only the heart and the mind can handle life's paradoxes, things like love, death, suffering, and the very concept of our Creator. Think about the first time you fell in love. Now, explain the emotions that you felt. Explain the rationale behind your actions. Don't worry, I can't either. Ever been in a waiting room when the doctor informs the family that a relative or family member didn't make it? I have. Who in their right mind would attempt to fix this moment with logic? What about our Creator? In fact, about a week or so ago, I was engaged in conversation that tried to explain the concept of our Creator. But with every answer and every question that begged an answer, there was more confusion. I mean, really, what makes sense about a Creator who's everywhere but also inside of us? What about a Creator who is 3 but also 1 in some concepts of our Creator? Wise people actually don't need to make sense of the world. They don't even need to be right. They accept the uncertainty that is life. and death. 2. Seek humility and embrace wonder. Proverbs 15 verse 33 says, wisdom's instruction is to fear the Lord, and humility comes before honor. Now here's a big separator of knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge alone puffs up, as Paul says in 1 Corinthians chapter 8 verse 1. Enlightened people refuse to stand in awe of anything. Information says humility is weakness. Wonder and reverence are like silly games that children play. You will never meet a wise person who isn't humble. As you grow in wisdom, you grow in reverence and awe, reminding you how little you know and how loving this higher power must be. 3. Don't be defined by success. 1 Corinthians 3 verse 18 says, do not deceive yourselves. If any of you think that you are wise by the standards of this age, you should become fools so that you may become wise. Sounds a bit of an oxymoron, right? Thomas Merton once said, we spent our whole lives climbing the success ladders, only to find that the ladder leans against the wrong wall. There's actually nothing inherently wrong with climbing ladders of success, but you won't find wisdom there. To use Richard Drawer's words, after the age of 30, success has almost nothing to teach us. Even though I'm hardly on the other side of more than what I've just mentioned, I found these words to be true. I learn much more about myself from my mistakes or my failures than I do from my successes. 4. Accept the finality of life. Psalm 90 verse 12 says, teach us to number our days so that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Death's inevitability doesn't strike fear in the hearts of the wise. Neither do wise people waste energy fighting death. We live in a time where exercise and eating right are idols, hiding us from the inevitability of death. I'm not against either. Both are important to my personal well-being. I exercise a few times a week, but I also have witnessed firsthand the idolatrous temptation that comes with physique and health. Numbering your days gives you perspective, drive, and purpose. It challenges you to change your midst of an existence doing something that matters. 5. Value character over reputation. But the wisdom that comes from heaven is first of all pure, then peace-loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and sincere. That's in James chapter 3 verse 17. Wisdom comes from heaven, has no agenda. Its only allegiance is to truth. Its motives are pure, which is the meaning of integrity. Wise people love peace. So, shalom is what we are talking about here. Wholeness, reconciliation, unity. Peace isn't passivity. Wise people fight, but not with the world's weapons. They fight with love. Wise people are radically inclusive and obedient. They can forgive almost anyone for almost anything, even their enemies. 6. Listen and ask questions. Listen to advice and accept discipline, and at the end you will be counted among the wise. That's Proverbs 19 verse 20. Wisdom implies listening. I struggle with listening. I want to be heard. True sages don't struggle with this. They have much to learn, and they realize that you can't learn with your mouth open. I'm working on it. 7. Grow in hope regardless of what's going on around you. Ephesians 1 verse 17 and 18 says, that the God of our Lord, the Father of glory, may give you a spirit of wisdom and of revelation in the knowledge of him, having the eyes of your hearts enlightened, that you may know what is the hope to which he has called you, what are the riches of his glory inheritance. Wise people are always hopeful, to a fault sometimes, I may say. Why? Because hope isn't circumstantial. Hope is eternal, which means nothing external alters it. This also means it's ever growing because God is everlasting. Hope separates knowledge from wisdom. Most knowledgeable, intellectual people aren't hopeful. If you look around, hope doesn't make much sense. But when you look up, trusting an eternal creator, you realize hope is the only option. If you're not growing in hope, you're not growing in wisdom. So do something about that. 8. Surround with hopeful, life-giving people. Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. That's Proverbs 13, verse 20. The cliche, show me your friends, I'll show you your future, applies here. I've watched this principle have its way with my life. For years, I surrounded myself with negative voices. Some of these were even church leaders, I'm ashamed to say. But after leaving a church that I was affiliated with, I spent about a year unemployed. It was a cynicism detox, and I thank God for it. I still battle cynicism, but I see it coming now. You can't fight an enemy that you can't name, identify, or recognize. Wise people surround themselves with life-giving voices, people of integrity who live with passion and meaning. 9. Learn from the past, but never live there. Do not say, why were the old days better than these? For it is not wise to ask such questions. That's in Ecclesiastes 7 verse 10. Wisdom doesn't entertain nostalgia. She's a dirty liar. You almost always see the past through rose-colored glasses. You see the best of the best, in other words. All the crap that you walk through suddenly disappears. The past is for learning, not living. Wise people remember and learn from the past, but they never live there. Most people have these two backwards. This is the danger of knowledge. We dismiss history, but we often live in the past. We want to make our country great again, while failing to realize that our nation's history is flooded with racism and oppression. This is why we are desperate for wise people. Wisdom always moves forward, always. Of course, there's more to say here. What do you think? What habits or qualities define the wise? That's it for our installment for Testimonial Tuesday. Remember, wisdom. The 9 qualities of wisdom is needed, and we need it all the more than ever, because that'll be the thing that will make your current life the best life, because it's your life. Make it a good one.